Striding Folly, 3 Lord Peter Wimsey Mysteries, by Dorothy L. Sayers. Narrated by Ian Carmichael.
Striding Folly. "Shall I expect you next Wednesday for our game as usual?" asked Mr. Melilot. Of course," replied Mr. Creech. "Very glad there's no ill feeling, Melilot. Next Wednesday as usual. Unless—" His heavy face darkened for a moment, as though at some disagreeable recollection. "There may be a man coming to see me. If I'm not here by 9, don't expect me. In that case, I'll come on Thursday." Mr. Melilot let his visitor out through the French window and watched him cross the lawn to the wicket gate leading to the hall grounds. It was a clear October night with a gibbous moon going down the sky. Mr. Melilot slipped on his galoshes, for he was careful of his health and the grass was wet, and himself went down past the sundial and the fish pond and through the sunk garden, till he came to the fence that bounded his tiny freehold on the southern side. He leaned his arms on the rail and gazed across the little valley at the tumbling river and the wide slope beyond, which was crowned at a mile's distance by the ridiculous stone tower known as the Folly. The valley, the slope, and the tower all belonged to Striding Hall. They lay there, peaceful and lovely in the moonlight, as though nothing could ever disturb their fantastic solitude. But Mr. Melilot knew better. He'd bought the cottage to end his days in, thinking that here was a corner of England, the same yesterday, today, and forever. It was strange that he, a chess player, should not have been able to see 3 moves ahead. The first move had been the death of the old squire. The second had been the purchase by Creech of the whole Striding property. Even then he'd not been able to see why a rich businessman, unmarried and with no rural interests, should have come to live in a spot so remote. True, there were 3 considerable towns at a few miles' distance, but the village itself was on the road to nowhere. Fool! He'd forgotten the grid. It had come like a great, ugly chess-rook, swooping from an unconsidered corner, marching over the country, straddling 4, 6, 8 parishes at a time, planting hideous pylons to mark its progress, and squatting now at Mr. Melilot's very door. The Creech had just calmly announced that he was selling the valley to the electrical company, and there would be a huge power plant on the river and workmen's bungalows on the slope, and then development, which to Mr. Melilot was another name for the devil. It was ironical that Mr. Melilot—
Sample complete. Ready to continue?